My wife, Anjana, has always been a spiritual being. She has practiced yoga for more than 10 years. In order to elevate her journey to a higher realm, she recently applied for a 10-day-long meditation practice at a Buddhist center. She was accepted to the course just 5 hours before it began. We rushed up to the center, and when we arrived, the orientation had already started. One of the monks was explaining the course details. He was a sweet and compassionate man, explaining the austere life practiced in the center. The first requirement was to surrender all mobile devices. I was stunned. Anjana would be completely cut off from the modern day world for 10 long days. My heart went out to her. She would give up modern day comfort in her quest for enlightenment. I asked myself, how can I measure up to her? What can I do to equal this kind of sacrifice? Looking around, I noticed a message in the bulletin board. Servers needed to cook, clean, and work for the resident students. Here is how I could help. I could be a server. Friends, that decision completely changed my life's perspective. As I approached the registration desk, I was only told that application for the servers were no longer accepted. But I persisted and struck up a conversation with the registrar, who soon was convinced about my sincerity. He took me inside the sanctuary to meet the center abbot. He was a monk with a clean-shaven head, sitting in the lotus position. As he nodded, I pled my case. I am on par with my wife in meditation practices, and I sincerely want to serve the center. Oh, Bhikshu, oh, the enlightened soul, please allow me to taste a bit of life of the monk. Let me spend a day inside these walls. He smiled and said, okay, you come on the 9th day of the course and stay here for a day and night. I was thrilled. When I returned home, my thoughts drifted back into a time when I was a boy watching a group of monks walking through our neighborhood. As they arrived, we took off our sandals in reverence and most respectfully placed a food offering in each of the alms bowl. Then, kneeling down with our palms joined together, we sought their blessings. Even though I received their blessings, I had a doubt. Did I really learn anything from them? That day, as I was returning back to the center, I was struck with a strange sense of deja vu. I woke up at 4 o'clock to the sound of temple gong. We assembled for prayer, and then I started the duties of a server, cleaning the kitchen sink, arranging the vegan charcuterie board, raking leaves from the vegetable gardens, carrying heavy blankets and ropes from one building to the other. As I'm trying to absorb the austere life of a monk, how to brush my teeth without spilling a single drop of water, how to splash cold water in my face before rushing off to the meditation, I was recalled following the teaching of the monk who walked through our neighborhood. Have no concern with physical discomforts such as pain, hunger, and cold. You must purge yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Oh, my son, you perform all of your tasks with a clear mind. Towards the end of the day, I was given my final task to iron a bunch of saffron robes. The saffron robe is a symbol of peace, purity, and piousness. I received them with utmost devotion. Then I begin to press out with an old iron, one single pass at a time. But no matter how much I tried, it seemed the wrinkles would not go away. I stared at the lukewarm iron with dismay. I felt defeated. At that moment, precisely, the temple abbot walked in, smiling at me. On my balls of my feet, with the iron in hand, I smiled, returned his smile awkwardly, and said, "Oh, Bhikshu, I'm not doing a good job." He knelt down, leaning towards me, still smiling. He said, "You must remember this. There is no good, there is no bad. All that matters is how much you try." Immediately, I felt all my tension leave from my body. I realized I just had overburdened myself. Friends, it is okay to fail. Just do your best. That's what anyone can expect of you. As Anjana and myself returned back home, these words reverberated inside me. I began to apply these principles in day-to-day life. I start my day with a clear mind. Today, if my ideas are rejected, if the community charity project I painstakingly work is ignored, I will not let that feeling defeat me. Losing and winning is not that important. What gives me peace is knowing that I have tried my best. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, esteemed guests and friends, there is no good, there is no bad. What matters is how much you try. Madam Toastmaster.
Number one, again, the lesson. You had a good opening, you ended with a lesson, you brought it together. I will say I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about the end, not the lesson, because that was really good, but you really built up how you and Anjana went in, and Anjana didn't have her phone for 14 days and you were worried, so you decided to go ahead and work at Serbi. I would have liked to know a little bit more of the effect afterwards, because you built that up so much, so I would have liked just a wee bit more on that. Your eye contact was great, and what I loved is you stood with your hands to your side. With that, your gestures were very intentional when you made them. People really looked at that. The one thing I would say on your gestures, when you turned like this, you were having a conversation to the wall. And I understand you did that for effect. However, we couldn't hear you because you do have a tendency of going soft on your voice, making it difficult. So if you're gonna speak that way, perhaps go to the side so we can hear you better. I love the conversational techniques that you have, the way you speak so that everybody is part of your speech. That's wonderful. Your descriptive words, like the monk with the clean shaven head, I could really picture that. Where you were talking about the iron and you were frustrated, your voice went really soft as you were thinking about the Buddha. But it was almost too soft. I was only halfway in the room, halfway to the back, and yet I had a difficult time hearing you. So maybe what I would recommend is start with a little bit higher volume and then go lower. So that way the effect is better and everybody can enjoy the speech. Loved how you used the word of the day in there. That was incredibly creative. Very good, because I don't know how anybody else would expect to use that in their speech, but you managed it very good, especially vegetarian charcuterie tray. Excellent. Love the speech. I look forward to more. Keep up the hard work.